What's up, collectors? It's Parlay J here with you today, and I'm in the car on the way to the Garden State Card Show. It's my second one of the season. This one is in Secaucus in New Jersey. They changed their location from last year. Should be a fun time. This is going to be the first show I've been to since the National. I think this is my third show this summer. Let me get out of the way so I don't get into an accident over here. I am really looking forward to this one. It's kind of a gloomy day. The last time I went to a card show was in my last video, and it was Memorial Day weekend, so the start of summer is now the end of August. We're at the end of summer, but things have changed in the hobby. So at the beginning of summer, prices at the card show were still really high because it actually took a while for the eBay comps that dropped off at that time period to start to reflect at card shows. And so a lot of the dealers were still marking their cards up as if it was the prices that were from a couple months back, prior to May. So I'm curious to see now that we're post-national, we're many months after card prices have taken a dip, to see if prices are reflective of the market at this point in time. So with that in mind, I've got one goal. I've got a $300 budget this time. Last time I had a $200 budget. I definitely don't intend to spend all of it. What I have on my mind, and the roads over here are rough. What I have on my mind is I'm looking for one graded, really nice vintage card. And I don't have a specific card in mind, because when you go to a card show this size, I want to say there's probably going to be, I don't know, maybe 50 tables or so. Could be more. Last time they had 2 floors. Even if it's 50 to 75 tables, you may not have the ability to really find like one very specific card that you're after, unless it's a very high profile card, of course. But I'm not looking for any really specific modern guy. I'm not looking for any very, very sought after vintage baseball player. But I do just want one really nice and, the valuable player, preferably a rookie if I can find one. But I want to find one really nice vintage graded card, and I really want to see a card that is well centered. That's the real key. So I'm not so much worried about the grade as I am about the card itself. And so we'll see. We're at the end of summer. People have been, they're taking vacation now. I'm curious to see if attendance will be kind of low, because, this time of year is a big vacation week. You're getting it all in for August before school starts, before people go back to work at the end of summer. And things are, getting somewhat normalized with COVID. So I suspect that we're back on that kind of pattern of vacation, and lots of folks are taking vacation this year. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm hoping I could score a pretty good deal. Not sure exactly what I'll be able to land for under $300. If I can get a vintage rookie that's, of a decent grade and looking nice, but we'll find out. So that's my goal. We'll see if I achieve my goal. Last time I went to a show, I told you, have a plan. I had no plan, and usually I end up making a snap decision to go to card shows. So I don't have time to think it out, but that's my plan this time. So on the way to New Jersey, and once again, the Garden State Card Show. If you have not checked it out, check it out. It is a pretty nice setup. They usually have them at hotels. We'll see what this one is. It's at a different location than the last time. We are on the trek, and enjoy the ride. A very large parking garage back there that I parked in, whereas last time it was like a hotel by a pool. So we'll see how it is on the inside. Let's go.
Birch.
First T206 in the collection from this fine gentleman over here.
Thank you, sir.
All right, it's time to take a look at my pickups, and I mean, there wasn't a whole ton that I picked up. There was a decent selection at the card show. There were a lot of tables, as you saw on the videos, but I told you I was on a real specific mission to find one vintage card, and I kind of didn't want to spend my whole budget, like I said, in the car on the way over, but I wanted to get something really unique, either a vintage card that I've been looking for, and again, it was tough to find one in the price range that I was looking for in any kind of really good grade, or just a really old vintage card that I don't have in my collection. And then of course, as I walked around, you know, I always hit up the dollar boxes because I try to find some decent buys there. And so I came away with two kind of silly little pickups that I thought was pretty cool. So here are the first two, and I've been really big on collecting packs and sealed packs. And for the last, I'd say, year or so, I've been trying to collect either sealed loose packs that I would grade myself or just graded packs all together, because I think they're really, really undervalued and underpriced. And I feel there's gonna be a time where people have been turning to sealed boxes for a while, but they haven't been turning to sealed packs quite as much. And I feel like that's the next logical step. It's kind of like when you sell shares of a company. If you can't afford the whole company, then you're gonna buy a share in a company. And that's where I think packs are eventually gonna come into play on really, really vintage or highly sought after products, not just any product. I particularly really like to collect some of the non-sports packs, and I saw they had a grab bag of like a whole bunch of different packs. There was like Alf and all these different types of cards. But I just grabbed these two Ninja Turtle cards. So I grabbed Raphael and Leonardo because they were kind of like Leonardo was the number one, Raphael was the number two. In some circles, they would say Raphael was the number one out of the four. I thought this was really cool. I tried to get, you know, two different colors. I tried to make sure that they were sealed up pretty nicely and they had sharp corners. These are, I think, $2 each. Pretty cool. You could see that they were 59 cents. And these were 1989 Topps Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And in researching these, I think the most sought after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cards were the sticker set. And I've seen graded PSA 9s of these go for, you know, around 60 bucks or so. This was probably not the number one set, and the stickers were likely even more. I've seen them sold for more from an individual card perspective than here, but I really like these and I thought they were a lot of fun. So I picked these up. Those are my kind of starter pickups. And then I walked around the dollar boxes, and this was the best pickup that I found. And I liked it because it was pretty well centered for this year's card. And this was the 2010 Topps Update Set Mike Stanton rookie. And I had a Mike Stanton rookie in my collection that I did part ways with, and I sold it, but I really wanted to keep this card in my collection, so I sold a PSA 10. I bought this one raw. I think it was $4 for a base Mike Stanton that is centered pretty well. The corners looked pretty nice, so I was pretty happy to add that to the collection as well. So that was a nice fun pickup. But then came the one that I was really after, and it came to my surprise because I did not expect to get a card like this. And I ended up picking up a 1910 Sweet Caporal T206 Al Birch, and I knew nothing about Al Birch, and I still know nothing about Al Birch, but I have no T206 cards in my collection, and as soon as I saw this, pretty well centered. It's, you know, clearly not perfectly centered, but it is really darn nicely centered for a T206. And even on the back, you could see it is pretty well centered. Corners look, you know, really nice for a card that was printed over 100 years ago. And it came in an SGC, and the SGC slab, obviously, for these vintage cards immediately draws me. And this being an SGC 4.5, knowing how tough they are on grading cards, I thought this was an incredible card to add into the collection. I picked this one up for, I think it was $100 or $95 or something like that. Now, granted, it's a common, it's not a well-known player, but to add a T206 to the collection was really, I felt like I met my objective. And for those of you that don't have a T206 or don't know about T206 or know about what it is, T206s were actually printed in and placed in tobacco cigarette packs. And the terminology T206, actually that's what it comes from. So the T stands for tobacco, and the 206 was just the name, the number of the set. The set was printed between 1909 and 1911, spanned 3 years, and as you guys I'm sure are very well aware, the highest sold card ever in history was the Honus Wagner T206 card. Over, I think, $6 million, was it? Pretty incredible. So the set spanned 3 years. It included that Honus Wagner card. They say the big four out of it was the Wagner, Sherry McGee, the Eddie Plank, and the Joe Doyle. And those were the top four in the set. Al Birch did not crack the top four nonetheless. Also in this set, about 524 cards is purported. That is questionable. I was doing a little research just on T206 in general, and in 2012, I caught a YouTube video where they were talking to a dealer at a show. Now, get this, and I haven't checked recent comps, but 2012, a graded pack of T206 from 1909 sold for $1,500. So multiply that 10 years later to what happened in the card market, and if you were to do a quick eBay search, you will see exactly what the latest T206 pack probably sold for. Not that there's many of them in production or many of them out in the open market, but pretty darn cool. The name of the guy who branded T206 was Jefferson Burdick. He created a book called The American Card Catalog, and that was kind of like the original version of Beckett. And he's the guy who gave it the name T206, and that just stuck. Very, very cool card. These actually came in a cigarette pack. But you can imagine back then, tobacco being in a pack, and you'd get something in there. It wouldn't necessarily be a baseball card. It might be a flag, a picture of a flag, or it would be a card. That's why they were this small, because they had to fit in a pack of cigarettes. So when you compare that to the size of a baseball card today, clearly the size has changed drastically, but that was the reasoning behind the T206 card and its size. It was really intended to fit in an actual pack of cigarettes. So really cool. If you are interested in T206 cards and learning more about them, I would definitely say, do your homework on it, read up about it. For a really serious baseball card collector, T206 is so super awesome to have in the collection. The minute I saw this from far away. I kind of held off because I knew, Al Birch is not a big name. I wanted to see if anybody else was kind of going to make a move on it or not. Did another lap around, came back, saw it there, didn't find anything else that I was really interested in. So I said, hey, I'm going to go for this card and add this T206 to my collection. And that was basically it. Really happy that I was able to end up with this pretty cool Al Birch card next to, of course, the 2 packs of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Mike Stanton rookie. So what a juxtaposition of cards I guess I got here, right? A super vintage, a relatively modern by comparison, and then some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I really varied it up in this one. But I had a great time. The show was incredible. Big props out to Laz, who runs the card show. There was a great variety. It was really well organized. I would love to see next time maybe, some more autograph signings there. They had the guy that was in, I think, Young Rock. He played the Rock in the TV show or movie. Would have been pretty cool if there was a larger variety of either wrestlers or athletes, things like that, baseball players, football players. Overall, show was absolutely great. Not only sports cards there, but lots of vendors there, and you saw the footage of the slab shelf, which is pretty cool, and lots of things like that. You know, video games have been making their way in, so a pretty cool variety at the show. And make sure if you're in the northeastern part of the US, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and the tri-state area as it's called, check out the next ones. It's a great time, that's for sure. And if you're not in the Northeast, make sure you get to a card show, because walking around, talking to people, finding cards like this, like who's gonna find a 1910 Sweet Caporal card that's in almost a 5 condition and that you can hold in your hand? You can't do that. You got to go on eBay, and eBay is eBay. So there's nothing like going to a card show. I highly recommend it. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of the knowledge dropping, I guess we'll call it, on the 1910 Sweet Caporal T206 set. That was a really cool set. If you're a vintage baseball card collector, I highly recommend trying to get one into your collection if you don't have one already. But that'll do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and if you like the content, please let your friends know, have them subscribe. Drop me a comment down below. I respond to every comment that I see. And until next time, it's your boy Parlay J saying take care, spike your hair. We will see you next time. You can get the Cliffs Notes version on TikTok. Again, it's at Parlay J right here. So thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I hope you find this helpful. And until next time, it's your boy Parlay J saying take care, spike your hair. We will see you next time.